Hello, my name is Wilfred, and welcome back to another episode of On Being. Today I have my comfort coconut water because I want to tell you a story from my past. I thought it would be interesting to do a little backstory to tell more about myself and how I ended up here in Paris. At the age of 26, I decided it was time for me to leave my home and travel my country. This had been a long dream of mine, a 10-year-long dream of mine that I put off because of work, family, and different obligations that kept me from pursuing this passion. I love creating, I love traveling, and documenting the journeys that I have been so fortunate to pursue. It was on this journey that I discovered how resourceful I could be. I'm going to take a drink before I begin this story time because it is a trip down memory lane and I'm not sure if I'm ready to reminisce without the support of my coconut water. At the age of 26, I was super crazy, adventurous, and willing to try everything and anything in order to accomplish my dreams. My only dream was momentum. Going from place to place was an adventure of itself. I think I started the trip with $2,000 that I had saved up from working this Christmas part-time job. So at the start of the year, around January, the end of January, I embarked on a cross-country adventure that took me from Texas to New York. $2,000 sounds like a lot, but I had a 6-month time frame to stretch that money out. It was my initial plan to have work in the different states that I would travel, but as you know, finding a job in less than a week can be challenging, especially if you are not a planner. This journey made me realize a lot of holes in my logic. Sometimes I can be so idealistic and forget the minor details or major details, such as finding work, accommodation, living spaces, food. These things were lost on me. Luckily, I was able to find so many kind people along my journey, some of whom I still keep in contact with today. My life has completely changed because of the people I have met couchsurfing. Now, couchsurfing is not a new terminology, but it was something new to me, nothing I had ever experienced in my small town, suburban world of Grand Prairie, Texas. I'd always had a home and parents to retreat to, so this idea of people opening their home to strangers sounded surreal to me. And because I was such a guarded, I was so protected growing up. Not as much as Britney Spears, but I had my own issues with independence, freedom. And this will be another backstory about my parents. My sexuality was something I felt like I needed to keep under wraps, as well as so many of my inclinations. I felt like at the age of 26, I was finally living out my childhood dreams. It took 10 years to do so, 10 years of backtracking, but I was able to honor that version of myself in the best way that I knew how to. So each doorstep that I went to, and let me back up just a bit for, because I'm getting ahead of myself. Couchsurfing is an application that you can sign up and meet thousands of people across the world who are willing to open their homes up to strangers and different people in exchange for stories, meal times. A lot of times I was cooking and cleaning in order to give thanks for the person that I was staying with. Of course, I wanted to keep my place tidy and also show my appreciation for the person who was hosting me. A lot of times I was hosted for a day or two, and if the person was super generous, a week. And this went a long way. I continued living like this for the next better portion of a year. I started in January, and it wasn't until September, maybe into September, October, which is a very monumental time for me. It's my birthday month, and it's a time for transformation for me. So around this time, I finally found something stable and sustained that living space for a longer duration of time. But prior to the September of the year 2023, I was hopping around place to place. Being nomadic is such a integral part of my identity. I wish I would have had more knowledge. I'm so happy that I'm resourceful. This is part of my personality. It's something that I had to develop as I was on the road and learning about this application, and also the people that I was with, meeting them emotionally and also on a sociological level. I had to connect with these people for the duration that I was staying there because I had to earn their trust. And that was not easy to do. I think it forced me out of my shell. I can be so much of an introvert at times, but when I have this vision guiding me and pushing me forward, it's like it's it's like I can quiet the noise of who I am, or the nature rather of who I am. So I did this for about 6, 9 months and eventually found something stable. I wanted to do this episode to showcase how drastically, oh gosh, that is a good question. Why did I want to do this? I wanted to do this episode to share with you how much my life has changed since that moment. I've I've come across so many people in my traveling adventures who have pursued a similar dream to mine, a nomadic dream to see more of the world, and also other challenging other personal challenges that they were so willing and open to share with me. I think everyone is going through their own mental battle and struggle, but I think it's so important to connect with someone, especially if they are currently on the journey, and sharing that process with you, being vulnerable enough to open up about their own struggles with job, with work, with travel, with being resourceful. It runs the lot. In my next area, my next chapter of life, I am pursuing entrepreneurship. And this is a huge departure from living in place to place, thing to thing, home to home. But I am so thrilled to be doing something more sustainable and worthwhile for the person that I am now. I think I honored who I was by giving him the chance to see his home country from the eyes of hundreds. I'm exaggerating the number, but it's close to 100 different people. One of my most memorable experiences had to be in North Carolina. I know I'm jumping from story to story, but this is just the progression of thoughts that's happening in my mind currently. I'm going to do a sidetrack and talk about my journey across America. So one of my one of my favorite states, one of the most unexpected states that I had so much joy in, was staying with a brilliant woman in her late 30s. It's not often that I'm staying with women when I'm couch surfing. A lot of times it's generous gay men who open their homes. Maybe they're single, maybe they're in a couple, and they don't mind having the extra company. And it's nice to share company with another gay person. It makes me feel safe and comfortable, and I'm happy for that. But it is a different honor staying with someone who, for me, who has no intention, who has no similarity to me whatsoever, but who decides to open their home to someone who doesn't have the same idea who doesn't have the same idea as them. I'm struggling on this word. Who doesn't have the same idea as them, who doesn't have the same background, race, gender. This is a very vulnerable time. These are very This is a very vulnerable act that really opened my heart so much to me. I don't remember which profession that she was in, but I could just tell you that her IQ was so much higher than the average person. The way that she talked, the stacks of documents that were on her desk. She had a beautiful home with a dog and a daughter who was away for the weekend. And she just wanted to hear about my story. She welcomed me in, and I was in North Carolina. Never before did I think that I would be traveling alone from Texas to North Carolina. But it was such a beautiful experience because of the person's whose home I was in. I think she was a great host for this state. And for me, each person was a embodiment of the place that they were living, whether that was Massachusetts or Florida or California. I got to see the spirit of that person or that state in the person. I think the best example would be if the person was very connected to their city, maybe in some sort of social outreach or a socialite in some form, because it really enriches the experience when you are invited to share someone's social life, whether it's running, biking, maybe a night out drinking. It really just depends on the person. I got to see how different humanity is from my home country. And as I'm sharing this with you, I have more of a appreciation for who I was in that moment and the willingness I had to go back and honor that dream of mine. I'm talking to my boyfriend now about planning a trip back to the States and hitting a few different locations. This is going to be documented. I'm going to share with you, of course, where we plan to go, where we actually end up going, and our route across America in the near future. But for this episode, I am reflecting on the past. It is such a heartwarming feeling being able to give yourself permission to dream. And I feel so happy to be dreaming at this age still to this day. I still get texts from my mom every so often checking in on me. It's been 2 years since I've been living in Paris, and she worries a bit. And it's nice to let her know that, hey, your son is okay. He is living the life that he wants. He's mostly happy, and he's still dreaming. This is something that I carry so deeply within the persona that I wear each and every day, is that I am someone who gives themselves permission to dream. I posted a video today documenting the start of my new business. This is a different kind of topic for us to share. This is not something that I am discussing much on the On Being series, but it is very much a part of who I am becoming. I think this is a direct response to the environment that I am in, the Paris that I am absorbing a little bit and a little bit each and every day, the content that I'm consuming, which is changing because I'm in relation with different people and different ideas. My boyfriend, who comes from a different background, is giving me more perspective on what life could be like. And the more and more curious that I allow myself to be, the more exciting the transformation becomes for me. This gradual shift in ideas and mindsets is so um, I don't have the word for it, but it's ever evolving. It's adaptive, and it's dependent on your environment, but not exclusively. It goes hand in hand with who you are as a person and also where you surround yourself and what you surround yourself with. This has been such a collective and eccentric episode of many different facets of my mind and dreams. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of On Being, and I hope that you give yourself permission to dream and explore and see all of life's possibilities. The more and more you know, the more and more that you're exposed to, the more exciting life becomes. Of course, there's a caveat to that. There are some less exciting things, but I want to focus on the positive for today, as it's super rainy and gloomy in Paris this afternoon. So we can save the rain and gloom for another episode. But on today's ending, I just wanted to say thank you for watching. I can't wait to see you next time.